Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday of the Focus TV. As always, we have Octavia Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, got Cardo Dudley Jr., and Wilson Sarbe Jr. Once again, we appreciate you guys for spending a portion of your Tuesday night with us. We got so much to talk about. You know, sports is kind of that weird place with transitions for a little bit. We had everything ripping and rolling all at one time. See that the WNBA's come to a completion, so is the NBA. Kudos to both of those leagues as well. For doing such a great job with handling COVID while watching some other leagues struggle through it because they decided to not be as prepared and to not take as much caution. And we'll get to them in just a little bit on tonight's show. Going to talk about the NBA Finals, of course. Octavia is going to give you the latest in NFC East. Got a DC United update for you guys. Some Pitts League gets the playoffs. So it's another thing where it's another league coming to a close. So we give you guys a playoff update. Over there, we're debuting an episode of The Probe this evening as well, and you already know Jamal Hayward with the 9450 breakdown. So now that we got all that out the way, once again, welcome to the Focus TV. The NBA Finals, just want to talk to you guys in case you guys have been under a rock, been off social media, became deaf or something during this time. The Lakers did, in fact, beat the Miami Heat. This is the 17th championship for the Los Angeles franchise. There's a lot of folks that are fans of teams where a 10-year drought between championships would seem like a lovely thing. Some people are acting like the 10-year drought is the same as like being a Knicks fan where it's been nothing but futility. Again, I gave that up. Don't know what it's like anymore. But there's a lot of franchise, the Kings, things like that where, a 10-year drought of that would be great. That said, 17th title for the Lakers. LeBron with his fourth title and his fourth Finals MVP, well deserved. Want to ask you guys what you guys thought about. Octavia, we'll start with you, then Ray, then Cardo.
It was kind of inevitable, I felt like that the Heat gave them as much as they could outside of this last game because the game for the Lakers to win it all, it was a complete rout. Like I probably stopped watching it midway through because it wasn't getting any better, and you knew the series was over at that point. But I still give a lot of props to the Heat, for doing what they did, beating all odds and getting to the finals. But it was LeBron and AD's time. It was just kind of you saw portions and times and periods throughout the playoffs where you weren't sure, just because like they played really bad, but like that they were eventually going to get it together. It just depended on how it all worked out on the other teams. Just like if those players showed up to play, you knew that the LeBron and AD would, even if they had an off game or a bad game, like it wasn't going to last. So congratulations to them. Only to the Laker organization, like their fans are just going to be ridiculous now until next year. It's gonna be too much to deal with. But I look forward to seeing next year. See if those players stay. The role players, are they going to be different? Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to build off of this, or if the Clippers are actually going to get it together? Depending on who the Clippers pick as a coach. Is it now going to be another renewed battle of LA and what's going to happen, or is it just LeBron's town now? So yeah, it is what it is. I'm sad basketball's over, but hopefully we don't have to wait so much longer for next season.
Right.
Congratulations to the Lakers. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. They did what they better had done, because if that thing didn't go this way, yeah, it was going to be bedlam. But no, on a serious note, I mean, congrats to them. They got the job done. They finished what they sought out to do. Like Octavia said, Miami, they fought as hard as they could, but things just didn't go their way. Then they on top of that, them just kind of being outmatched. They had the injuries to deal with. Bam missed a couple games. Goran pretty much missed the entire series. They threw him in that last game. I felt like just out of desperation. But yeah, kudos to the Lakers for closing it out. Miami, they just look completely exhausted and spent in that last game, and they just had nothing left. Jimmy was logging historical minutes for a final series, and he was just at the brink. Like those images of him in Game 5, and especially in the post game, we could barely walk getting up from his interview. I mean, that's just what it's about. At that point, you gotta lay it all on the line. You can rest in the off season. So yeah, man. Was happy to see the Lakers were able to finish the job. Considering all the hype and talk that's surrounding them the entire season. Next year is going to be interesting on a lot of fronts. Or the league will be whole in some aspects.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. The Clippers. It's interesting you brought them up, Octavia, because they got some things to figure out. And hopefully they can get to a place where they're a suitable contender, because that whole Battle of LA thing is fun. It's fun. It's good for the league. It's nice to have something to talk about. I would have loved to see them too go at it in the playoffs, but unfortunately, the Clippers couldn't hold up their end. And again, yeah, kudos number 17 for LA. It was a 10-year drought is massive for that franchise. So they're true fans that stuck it out through the Smush Parker, Jordan Hill, Jeremy Lin years. Kudos to you guys. Glad you got your fruits. And yeah, man, just hopefully next year gets started soon. I think they said they're looking at like January or something like that. So I'll just be patiently waiting.
Cardell.
Experience won. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. Like I said, Miami fought as hard as they could, but the more experienced team, prevailed. You know what I'm saying? They just wouldn't go away. We already knew that LeBron and AD was gonna do what they do. You know what I mean? For the most part, so Miami would have to kind of match that by committee. And the times that they did, they got wins. But to ask them to do that 4 straight, that's just not realistic with as, inexperienced and young as, the Miami roster is. I expect LeBron to do what he did. I expect AD to make an impact. But the difference in the series was Rondo. With Rondo hoop, Lakers was nearly unbeatable. He took they talk about, LeBron making guys better. Rondo made him better. He took him off the ball. That's one less thing LeBron had to worry about while he was on the floor. So now he on the wing, drawing attention and focusing on how to make an impact that way. And then, Rondo just feeding AD, feeding LeBron, and then what made it worse, the backbreaker, he was hitting 3-pointers. So it's like, you got guard on all aspects. So, it just took him out. But like I said, man, it's just, Miami was facing an uphill battle. We all knew the Lakers were the favorite going into the series. I just applaud how they fought. Whereas, too many times lately in this era where a lot of teams just give in from the get-go, we're going to waste time, just show up and just get beat down. They didn't go down quietly, man. You know what I mean? But like Raymond said, man, you could tell they were gassed. That last win they had, that was it. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers got it done. But, next season, it's going to be real. You know what I mean? Because hopefully things are semi-normal. You know what I mean? But I know y'all brought up the Clippers. The Clippers were a disappointment to me because they got cute. They let an opportunity get away. The thing about sports and in life in general, you may never get another opportunity. You lost your coach because y'all ain't handle business. Some young teams got confidence. They will be better next year. And some old adversaries will be whole again, ready to get back on that run. Them light-skinned dudes in, San Francisco now, Golden State, they're not used to sitting at home. They're used to battling for finals. So they're going to be hungry. Denver's going to be stronger. I keep saying I expect to see more Bobo in that mix. You see how talented he is. So now he got experience with those guys. They're going to be even better. KD and Kyrie's coming back. I want to see what Doc does in Philly, and just see how that shake up the East. How will Boston get better? How will Miami come back stronger? It's going to be, what is Houston going to do? Man, maybe the Clippers are fine. Maybe it just needed a new voice or something like that. Maybe, you know, favorite Tyronn Lue stays on board, man, and maybe they accomplish next year where everybody thought they would this year. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be fun going into next year just to see what happens. But I'm glad the league will be whole. And hopefully it's just somewhat normal, man, because I don't want to see the bubble thing, because that kind of took a little thunder out of the place, man, because you don't really get to see guys on the road with the whole building against them show up and do certain things. You know, like I was listening to a podcast with Kawhi Leonard, you know, last year when he hit the shot against Philly, it wouldn't have been the same in the bubble. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing Toronto go crazy, seeing those type of shots, those type of plays. I'm looking forward to getting back to that, man. You know, so looking forward to next season.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the other thing. Houston might play a pivotal role in the landscape of the NBA just by virtue if they choose to blow that thing up, just where the pieces land. I know everyone's focused on just James, but if a contender, say the Lakers get their hands on like Covington or something, that's a beautiful piece for them. The Clippers, the Nuggets, if PJ Tucker ends up somewhere for a contender, there's a lot of different things with that roster. Maybe as constructed as it is, probably didn't achieve what it should have achieved. Well, clearly, take probably out. It didn't achieve what they planned out achieving. But if you you strip it down for parts, it could go to a lot of different places, and it gets interesting. Cardell, you brought up Doc in Philly. We don't know if everybody stays on board in Philly with whatever Doc's vision for that thing is. There's a lot of teams where we don't know. Miami, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like you mentioned. All season is going to be fun, like you all shared. Looking forward to the league being whole again. And I think just one of the things, I know not to bring it up too much, but it felt weird with those players that everybody was sick of for 5 years not being in the league this year. I don't think anybody will openly deny that. It just felt weird. It didn't feel whole, like you guys said. That said, again, please listen clearly. This is no one on this program diminishing the title, just stating it felt weird where, a couple characters missing. That's just all we're saying. But we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Octavia is going to lead us in the NFC East. You're watching the Focus TV. We'll be right back.
I got to laugh every time y'all say it.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. We just finished talking about the NBA Finals, just wrapping that up. All right, Octavia, good luck with this week's NFC East segment. It seems like a lot, just even from far away, like a whole lot of positive things, whole lot of negative things, whole lot of stuff, just, throwing the fact of the division as a whole. Have fun.
It's just bad. Yeah. I'm kind of getting used to this now. Like, this is just what it's going to be this year. I'll go ahead and start with my terrible team. We'll go ahead and throw that out there this year. The Eagles played the Steelers this week, which they lost 29-38. And our next game is going to be against the Ravens, so it's not going to get much better. Carson Wentz was 10 of 35, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. What a surprise. 4 carries for 11 yards. Miles Sanders had 11 carries, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 receptions for 19 yards. Travis Fulgham, 10 receptions, 152 yards, 1 touchdown, and Greg Ward had 4 receptions for 26 yards and 1 touchdown. So I will say that we did a whole heck of a lot better than I thought we would do at all versus the Steelers. So I have promise and hope in that, but I still feel like it's not whole. Still too many injuries. Lane Johnson out again. Jason Peters was out as well. Darius Slay now was in the concussion protocol. It's a lot of injuries still. I give a lot of props to the practice squad, wide receiver Travis Fulgham stepping up. 10 receptions, 152 yards, 1 touchdown. Very, very important touchdown that they needed in that game. And he was just the definition of be ready when your number is called. He was ready. He played really, really well. It gives me hope that at least that we're evaluating certain talent well, because a lot of this is the second year in a row where we've had a practice squad player have a breakout type of situation because we've been dealing with a lot of injuries. Deshaun Jackson still injured. Alshon Jeffrey still injured. So Miles Sanders had a good game. Carson had an okay game. You know, he did make a really, really good pass, but I just still feel like he's been inaccurate. But I do feel like he's been paying more attention to it, and he's been trying to not do too much. Is the only way that I can explain it. I feel like he's finally starting to settle in some and playing within the flow of the game. Defense was just terrible. Clint Claypool, I said Clint Clay. I think it's Chase Claypool. Excuse me for the Steelers just did whatever he wanted. 3 receiving touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. Like, it was ridiculous. But again, like I said, I give them props for they held in there for a while. You know, there was a good chance that, you know, we had a chance, but it just didn't work out. That missed field goal with I can't even think of his name right now. Jake Elliott, that would have helped. But all in all, I'm not surprised. So I wasn't too upset this week. I probably won't be too upset next week as well because they play the Ravens, and anything short of a miracle, it's probably not going to happen. So I'll go ahead and go to the Washington football team who played against the Rams this week, and they did lose to the Rams. The Rams had 30. Washington football team had 10. Your new name starting quarterback after this happened after last week's show, Kyle Allen he was 9 of 13, 74 yards, 1 carry for 7 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Although, yes, he was a starting quarterback, he got knocked out of the game, and we saw Alex Smith come back in after 2 years from his leg injury. He was 9 of 17, 37 yards, and 1 carry for 1 yard. Gibson had 11 carries for 27 yards, and J.D. McKissick was the leading receiver for 6 receptions and 46 yards. Just to touch on the quarterback situation, Dwayne Haskins was benched last week. And when I say benched, I mean benched from first string all the way to third string. They put him all the way at the end. Kyle Allen took over. As we know, he played for Rivera in Carolina last year. He knows the system. This was the thought process and the terminology that they used a lot last week to support the reason of it. I don't really support it. I think they should have gave him some more time. But all in all, doesn't matter. Kyle Allen started, and he didn't do too much better. Yeah, he didn't throw the ball away, but he didn't really give them a spark like you would have thought that they were looking for in this game. It kind of felt the same. And as proud and happy as I am for Alex Smith, it was kind of the same with him too. So now with Allen being out, I'm sure he's still going through protocol. We'll see how that goes. Dwayne Haskins didn't even dress for this game. He wasn't even at this game. Apparently, he had an illness, and they decided to keep him away for that game. There have been other rumors that he is throwing what they call a temper tantrum. He's unfollowed players on social media and personnel on social media. This is not confirmed. This is all just what I've heard. I've not personally gone to his Instagram to check because it's not that deep. But that's what's going on. Their defense was just bad as well. Robert Woods kind of ran past Fuller like like he wasn't even there for his touchdown. And again, like I said, the Rams got rolling again after they had a subpar performance last week against the Giants, and it was just, yeah, it was exactly what I expected. Um, so the Washington football team will play the Giants next week, so we'll have another NFC East game against each other. So at least we will have one winner next week again. And as I say that, we do have one winner this week. The Giants played the Cowboys this week. The Cowboys were victorious. The Giants lost 34. Cowboys had 37. Giants' next game again is going to be against the Washington football team, and the Cowboys' next game is next Sunday night against the Cardinals. But on the Giants side, Daniel Jones was 20 of 33, 222 yards, 2 carries for -7 yards, and 1 lost fumble. Freeman had 17 carries for 60 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 27 yards. And Darius Slayton had 8 receptions for 129 yards. On the other side, Dak Prescott was 14 of 21, 166 yards, 1 interception, 2 carries for 7 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Andy Dalton was 9 of 11, 111 yards, 1 carry, 0 yards, 1 fumble loss. Ezekiel Elliott was 19 carries and 91 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 reception for 14 yards, and then CeeDee Lamb had 8 receptions, 124 yards. In those stats, you did hear me say Andy Dalton. If you haven't seen by now, Dak Prescott suffered a season-ending ankle injury. It was very, very hard to watch. It's reminiscent of those injuries, those gruesome injuries like we just talked about Alex Smith having, and Gordon Hayward and Paul George, those type of injuries that going forward, they started like you don't even want to look at it. Like his foot was the opposite way of what it should be. So I'm sure immediately he knew it was over at that point. They did sign Andy Dalton in the offseason, so it does appear that he will be the starting quarterback going forward. But as far as the game goes as well, Cowboys started off slow again. The Giants scored the most points that they've scored all season. Which again tells you how bad Dallas's defense is. The Giants haven't scored touchdowns in almost 8 quarters, I believe they said. So for them to score as often that they did, they were up 14-3 at one point. The Cowboys led the opening possession of the game, went all the way down the field, but was unable to score a touchdown and had to settle for a field goal. For the Giants, Graham Gano was a bright spot for them. If it wasn't for him, he wouldn't have kept it as close as it was. And Andy Dalton ended up putting together a run at the end of the game, and Greg Zuerlein was able to kick the winning field goal with time expiring. So to me, it was a lucky game for both of them. The defense kind of got a little bit started. At least both defenses did have turnovers. DeMarcus Lawrence was able to get a strip sack, and that was probably the most we've talked about DeMarcus Lawrence this year as far as their defense. So maybe he's starting to get going. And like I said, next week they play Sunday night against the Cardinals. I expect on the offensive side of the ball, the Cowboys to give Zeke the ball more. It's already been seen that he hasn't been getting as many touches as he's usually been getting in these past couple of years. And that's because they were able to rely on Dak a lot. And now without Dak, I think they're going to start giving the ball to Zeke a little bit more and crushing the rushing game a little bit. So we will see how that goes next week. They play the Cardinals. Again, the Giants will play the Washington football team. I suspect that we'll have one winner in the NFC East. Don't know who it'll be at this point. But it'll be somebody. Yeah, that's all I got for y'all this week.
It don't matter. They going home in the first week of the playoffs anyway.
No, whoever gets lucky enough to get 6 wins this year and win the division and get to host a home game, and they'll be closer to going home, so they won't have to travel that far. Whoever it is, because it's really, really bad.
Might as well tank
it's
it.
really bad. Like I don't remember it being this bad like the last couple of years. Like it's always been bad. Like don't get me wrong. Like the NFC East has always not been the division that you look for wins. But it's been a little bit more respectable than this. This year they're a little disrespectful, and I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe it's the offseason that made it even worse with them not being able to do anything. I don't know. and some unprecedented amount of injuries and of course in NFC East, but the entire NFL, as we've seen, certain like teams are decimated like everywhere. So I'm already looking forward to next year. But I will still be in front of the TV every week watching my team win, lose, or draw because we've done that too.
Vote, please.
Cardell said.
You know.
Just,
Yeah, that's one thing I can do
vote.
now.
Oh wow! Real quick update from the Pitts League. As promised, you guys, playoffs has already started. So get you guys a quick first and second round playoff recap for you guys. Also, get over to literally it's just the Pitts League on Instagram for your daily updates from games, some great highlights or whatnot. And then we'll be broadcasting the finals this week. Follow us on social media for that. You know, we do the primetime Friday games. The doubleheader this week will be the championship games in both the men's and women's division. So don't miss that. All right, for the first and second round of the playoffs, which happened on the 9th of this month, JNR's Mob defeated Baseline 53-43. We had Sam's Ballers beat Quiet as Kept 63-46. Team Pressure beat No Sleep Sports 64-45. Couple teams got punished in the playoffs to open the playoffs. That's you guys talking about going home quickly. Core defeated A-Team 69-61. Then you had Nellis Realty Group, defeated Team J 57-54. Team J happened to be the number 2 seed. They got bounced in the first round. All right. Free Love Mob defeated Team SBQ. One of the games we broadcasted this past Friday, 55-46. Sam Ballers beat JNR's Mob 59-53. That is a game that was a championship matchup in the past. Black Power defeated Run and Gun 51-47. Team AR defeated the Museum 70-57. Most Hated defeated No Mercy 73-51. As for the quarterfinal playoff results, these games took place on the 12th. Sorry about that. Sam's Ballers defeated Black Power 54-40. That was a 6 beating a 3 seed. Nellis Realty Group out here knocking off teams. They were ranked 26. This is one of the teams that you remember, like I think last week or the week before, went over to like the power rankings or the standings, whatever. The 26th team in the men's division. They're moving on. They knocked out the 7th seed 67-57. Free Love Mob took down the 1st seed Core 67-57. And then Team AR knocked off Team Pressure 67-60. So the 4 seed, the 1 seed, the 7 seed, and the 3 seed are all gone. So it's not a bad way to get things started. And then, like I said, get over to Pitts League. Make sure you guys follow along for the next round to find the results. And then we'll see you guys Friday night. Also, promise, gave you guys had a couple of DC United updates for you all. DC United is parted ways with longtime coach Ben Olsen. This is from some of the press release. DC United have announced that Ben Olsen will depart as head coach of the club effective immediately. Assistant coach Chad Ashton will assume the role of interim manager, while Olsen will no longer move forward as the head coach of DC United. He and the club are working together to determine a new role for him within the organization. This is a quote from Jason Levin, co-chairman of DC United. Ben has been a fabric of the DC United organization for more than 2 decades, including his role as head coach for the last 10 years, and we're forever grateful for his contributions and leadership. Over the course of his 22 years with the club, Ben has been a total professional and has represented this organization with incredible class and distinction. It is our sincere hope and belief that Ben will continue to have a big impact on the organization. All right, so, in sports, even though things move in the front office on the managerial side, games still have to be played. In the first match following the split between, following Alton's departure as coach, the Black and Red fell to Chicago Fire on the road 2-1, had a couple opportunities to even things up late. They weren't able to get the equalizer. Up next, they'll host the Philadelphia Union tomorrow at Audi Field. Philadelphia is a really good team, so they're going to have their hands full. Credit Ashton for the job he's done with. It's easy in this, as hard and difficult as this year has been. You lose your coach for a team to come out flat and pretty much just be over it. Just wait for the season to end. they came out, they fought. So the spirit's still there, and we'll see how everything goes, and we'll check in with you guys next week. Jamal Hayward, the 9-4-50 breakdown. Again, very special thanks to him for knocking these out each and every week. All right, this week he'll be breaking down different types of passes and coming off screens. This is huge on every level of basketball. Again, breaking down different types of passes and coming off screens. So you guys check that out. It'll be followed by a break. And coming back from the break, we're going to sit back with you guys and watch the debut of Probe episode 37 featuring guard Obadiah Neal. So we'll see you guys. I would say in a few, but it's going to be a little bit. It's a detailed probe, right? Cardell went in. It's not going to be just real quick. He went in, great information breaking down this player. So you guys enjoy that. When we get back, we'll have a little bit of rapid fire. So again, got the 9-4-50 breakdown, a little break, followed by the debut of Probe episode 37. You're watching the Focus TV, and we'll be back with rapid fire when all of those things are done.
God is trailing me right here, okay? Say if you're guarded right, all right? You're guarded right. Put your ball in. God is covering here. I can hold the screen tight without trying to trail. Now you gotta help over. You're falling back. What you say in front of me. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I can jump that. Okay? I can over that. Sorry. So back. The ball's over here. Tight. Your help here, I'm forward. Here, okay? Over there. That's one. Alright? Come back here. Now, let's say you do it the same way, right? And Madani somehow gets through the screen, and now he's here. But I got here, I'm here. And they're still helping. They're still helping. That's my second pass. Okay? Okay? So it's all about three. Okay? Yeah. Nice run again, okay? I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. The body's got balls. He's back here. He's back here. You're staying here. That's how you use that pass, okay? Depending on how he's making it. So I gotta get this in there as well. So, now, come back here. Let's go to this one. I'm here. Pause. Here. Got it? Gotta read him, I gotta read him, okay? So, you gotta stand up right now. Body, okay? So, let's just switch. I'm guarding you right here. Not to hold straight. A few different passes, okay? So, Madani is trailing me right here, okay? Say if you're guarded right, alright? You're guarded right. Put your ball in. Now he's covering here. I can hold the screen tight without trying to trail. Now you gotta help over. You're falling back. What you say in front of me. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I can jump that. Okay? I can over that. Sorry. So back. The ball's over here. So I'm here. More tight. Your help. I'm here. I'm forward. Here, okay? Over there, that's one. Alright? Come back here. Now, let's say you do it the same way, right? And Madani somehow gets through the screen, and now he's here. But I got here, I'm here. And they're still helping. They're still helping. That's my second pass, okay? Okay? So it's all about three, okay? Now, nice run again, okay? I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. The body's got balls. He's back here. He's back here. You're staying here. That's how you use that pass, okay? Depending on how he's making it. So I gotta get this in there as well. So, now, come back here. Let's go to this one. I'm here. Pause. Here. Got it? I gotta read him. I gotta read him, okay? So,
In episode 37 of The Probe, we take a look at UMass Lowell's all-conference senior guard, Obadiah Noel, who is, in my opinion, one of the top players in the country. At 6'3", 6'4", he has ideal size to play both guard spots in the NBA, and when you add in his skill, athleticism, toughness, IQ, and feel for the game, you could be looking at a potential first-round pick. He's that talented. Noel could continue the trend of low major guards like Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, CJ McCollum, etc., having great success in the NBA. Let's get started. Strength. Noel races up the floor and throws an absolutely beautiful pass to Christian Lutetti for the score. All the defense could do was watch. In the league, as a guard, you have to be versatile and be able to get your own and help your teammates get theirs. Noel can do both equally effective. Now Noel is at the top of the key. Lutetti comes and set his screen and pops out to the top of the key as Noel moves right. He hits the St. Francis defender with a step back between the legs crossover, creating space, and knocks down the jumper. Pro move to create a shot. Noel has a lot of these in his bag. Out of bounds play. Noel comes off a screen and curls towards the basket and dunks it home with two hands. Noel is as deadly a leap as he is skilled. Lethal combination. Noel at Michigan receives the ball at the elbow outside three-point range. Forward Connor Withers comes and set a screen. As Withers rolls towards the basket, Noel does a great job of pacing himself and probing the floor while keeping the Michigan guard Eli Brooks on his backside. Once he sees an opening, he gets to his spot and knocks down the jumper over Brooks. Pro-level feel and execution on display. With the ball, Noel gets a screen from Riverhawks forward Allen Blunt. Noel drives left into the paint, but is cut off by multiple UMBC defenders. Noel counters with a reverse spin away from the defense, which creates enough space for him to elevate and knock down a fadeaway jumper. His instincts to make plays is off the charts. Noel's pushing the ball in transition against Maine. Three Maine defenders hustle back to challenge Noel at the basket. It doesn't matter. Noel scores over them with a nice left-hand layup. And one. Guards at the next level have to make tough shots at times in a lot of traffic. Noel shows right here that he has the ability to do so. Noel runs up to receive the pass, but is denied. Noel instinctively V-cuts back towards the basket. Riverhawks guard Jordan Owens delivers the pass, and Noel dunks it home over the defender. Noel drives right against Stony Brook. As he looks to turn the corner, he's cut off near the basket. Noel does a good job of surveying the floor through all of this and sees Lutetti cutting baseline. He finds Lutetti in stride with a beautiful bounce pass for the score. These are the type of plays that makes Noel special. Noel drives hard right and hits New Hampshire's Jaden Martinez with a behind-the-back crossover that turns Martinez around, leaving him out of position defensively, allowing for Noel to score easily inside. Noel's isolation game is second to none. Binghamton is pressing, trying to keep the ball out of Noel's hands. As Jordan Owens crosses half court, Noel runs to the middle of the free throw line and makes himself big so Owens can see him. As Owens finds Noel, Binghamton center Yarden Willis steps up to cut him off from making a move. Noel dribbles hard left and hits Willis with a quick spin that leaves Willis stuck, allowing Noel time to finish inside. As I said before, he has a lot in his bag offensively. Weaknesses. Here's Noel defending against Michigan in the left corner. He does a good job of communicating with Riverhawks point guard Jordan Owens to switch his dribble handoff between Michigan guards Xavier Simpson and Eli Brooks. As Owens gets held up on a John Teskey screen chasing Eli Brooks, Riverhawks forward Connor Withers picks him up. Teskey then rolls towards the basket. Noel on the backside of the play sees Teskey rolling and hedges toward him at first. However, he bites on a pass fake from Brooks towards Simpson, who is standing out at the corner ready to shoot, leaving Teskey wide open for an easy layup. That's just a lack of awareness. He should have stayed with the player closest to the basket, which was in this case Teskey, and deny best you can. Give your teammates a chance to recover defensively. Worst case scenario, if Simpson gets an open three, who's a 36% shooter on the season, you live with the results. At best, he will hit 4 out of 10 shots from deep. Teskey will make that layup 9 times out of 10. Noel's defending LIU guard Vershawn Cotton at the top of the key. Cotton finds LIU guard Julian Batts curling out for a chance for a three. Lutetti does a great job of taking away his airspace. Bats passes it back out to Cotton. Cotton next gets a step on Noel, forcing Riverhawks forward Josh Gans to step up to help slow down Cotton. Kai easily drops it off the Flowers for the layup. Noel got beat too easily on that drive. He's too athletic for that. Good defenders always stop the first move. He should have been able to do that and force a counter, which in college would have resulted in either a bad shot or a pass back out to run another offensive set. In the pros, the goal is to force multiple counters. If you're beat consistently off the first move, etc., you won't be on the floor very long. Once again, Noel is defending Cotton. This time LIU calls for a pick and roll set. As LIU forward Jack Valentine comes to set a screen on Noel with Riverhawks forward Allen Blunt right with him, Cotton splits both defenders and goes all the way in for the score. No one rotates to contest Cotton at the basket either. Complete breakdown defensively. You see Noel took his left and see the screen coming. Noel should have slid and jumped on top of the screen from Valentine, which Blunt hugging Valentine would have made it difficult for Cotton to split both defenders. Noel more than likely would have forced Cotton to bring the ball back out to look for another option offensively, or the window would have been so tight that Cotton would have turned the ball over trying to split both. That's what defense is about, taking away options and making it tough as possible for offenses to execute throughout the game. Noel defends LIU guard Jashawn Augusto in the corner. LIU forward Tim Flowers does a dribble handoff with Augusto and sets up a pick on Noel to force a switch between Lutetti and Noel. Augusto drives into the paint, forcing Lutetti to go with him. Noel is now switched on the bigger Flowers. Augusto passes out to Valentine. Valentine drives left, and Noel makes a similar mistake as before, leaving it big. He's defending near the basket to help cut off an opposing player driving to make a play. You have to trust your teammates to make the right rotations, and you do your job. With Noel stepping up, Valentine lobs it over the defense to Flowers, who easily scores inside. Again, awareness. Noel has a game tailor-made for the NBA. He's versatile enough to play both guard spots and athletic enough to defend both guard spots. He can score from all three levels efficiently, and his vision and passing ability makes him a nightmare to slow down. The knock on him from front offices, I'm sure, will be the lack of games against top competition at each level from high school, AAU, and now in college, and his attention to detail defensively. I won't let this deter me from taking Noel personally. Against Ohio State last season, he had 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists on 50% shooting from the field and three-point range. And against Michigan, Noel posted 16.7 rebounds and 3 steals on 50% shooting from the field. I'm sure he was at the top of the scouting report in both games, yet he still had good performances against high major competition. Defensively, he has room to grow, but when I look around the league, so do the majority of players there. I think it was a smart move for him to come back to school to improve his stock, leaving after his junior season with the uncertainty in the process due to the COVID pandemic would have greatly hurt his chances at being drafted. 1, the knocks I mentioned on him would have been louder, and 2, he wouldn't have any workouts to show front offices otherwise against other guards in the draft. A strong showing this season will, and with hopes of a more normal draft process next year, I can see Noel being taken late first or early second round in the 2021 NBA draft. He's that talented.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Focus TV. Once again, Cardell, great job. And I just want to apologize for mispronouncing that young man's name like 5 times before we showed the probe. It's Obadiah Noel, as you heard clearly, as Cardell said several times. So I'm sorry, Obadiah Noel, for butchering your name 17 times while introducing the clip. But I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown and got something out of it. That said, we're going to go ahead and close things up the way we usually do. We're rapid fire. So Carter, you got like 11, 12 minutes to torment us. What you got this week?
I'm gonna start with one that's fairly simple. We all saw what unfortunately happened with that. If you guys were Jerry Jones, would you pay him? I'll start with you, Octavia.
That's so hard, but I would say no, because I gotta see how he comes back from that. They should have paid him before, but it's now it's like they should have paid him before. Yes, they should have paid him before, but it's like now you're coming off with like a crucial injury. Like, I'm not saying that he can't come back. I'm not saying that, but I just know how funny Jerry is with his money, to certain people. I just see him like wanting to see it now. Like, how is he going to come back before he hands over all this money? If anything, I see him signing him to another franchise tag, which will probably suck. But yeah.
All right, Raymond.
Yeah, man. From a business standpoint, best case scenario, like Octavia said, just do another franchise to see how his ankle holds up. I mean, like I wouldn't expect anybody else to give somebody coming off of a major injury gobbles of money just because. And yes, this shouldn't even be an issue right now, but it is. So we're going to talk about it and be as realistic as we possibly can. You know, they offered him money before, not what he was asking for. Should he have gotten what he asked for? Of course, but he didn't. He signed a franchise tag, and unfortunately, this is this type of stuff that can happen. So yeah, I mean, you can't reasonably expect somebody just to hand over a bag to someone coming off an injury like this. Like you do want to see how their body responds and if they can hold up. And if he comes back and balls out next year, then gotta back up the Brinks truck. But yeah, as it stands now, no. If I was in that position, I wouldn't do it.
All right, Wilson.
Yeah, you said if I was Jerry Jones, right? No, I get a chance to go draft a quarterback that fits my personal preference, someone that I choose to appreciate, which it won't be someone that probably looks like that. And they gave Jerry and company, they're out. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know a better way to put it. Like, they don't appreciate the dude. If you felt he was what he was, he would have been paid. So you're here. And, even hearing some of the old school NFL dudes talk about it the day of, it was kind of like, and I want to get mad at them, but they know that they've been around the league more than I have. They know how most of them folks are thinking. I heard Dungy's comments, and I'm sure that's not too far off from what Jerry's thinking. I don't got to pay the dude. Like, let's keep it a buck. I don't have to. I'm legitimately off the hook, right? Means I could go draft me a quarterback and not pay him for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Just being completely honest. With Dak, as bad as it is, your only silver lining is, God willing, you have a good recovery. You get back to as close as you could be to yourself, and you get yourself in a franchise that believes in you, cares about you, and willingly supports you. And that's it, But nah, he's not going to be a Cowboy. Again,
Gotcha.
It's my personal
moving. Okay, I got you. Moving on to another, let's just say, interesting story. If you haven't heard, Wichita State men's basketball head coach Greg Marshall is under investigation. A couple of players alleged from a few years back that he hit them, choked the assistant coach, was abusive. Greg Marshall just came out today and vehemently denied ever striking a player or coach. He released in a statement released to the Wichita Eagle on Tuesday. He denies 2 physical abuse allegations that triggered an investigation by a university hired law firm. Former player Shaquille Morris has claimed that Marshall struck him twice during an October 22nd, 2015 practice, and that he saw Marshall choke former assistant coach Kyle Lindstedt during a practice in 2016-2017 season. In his latest statement, Marshall made his strongest stand yet. In response to the allegations put forward in the media, I simply state unequivocally that I have never physically struck a player or colleague. Allegations claiming otherwise are false. The Eagle independently contacted 5 former players who also asked to remain anonymous, who said that Marshall punched Morris in the back of the head and that the coach put his hand around the throat of Lindstedt. Marshall reiterated that he is fully cooperating with the independent investigation by Tuskegee and St. Louis-based law firm, but Marshall voices concerns about how the allegations are being handled by media. His statement is, "It is important that the investigation conclude its work without outside influence. An unrelenting character assassination by a member of the media that repeatedly targets me and my family threatens to undermine the impartiality of the investigation." A host of former Wichita State basketball players have defended Marshall's coaching style publicly, but Notably absent from giving their support has been shockers from the 2015-16 and 2016-17 seasons when the coach allegedly engaged in physical abuse. I'm gonna just start with your thoughts on the whole situation, even the delay denial by Marshall. We're gonna start with you, Raymond. What's your thoughts?
First of all, if you punch me in the back of my head, ain't gonna be no investigation. You don't know what happened because I'm gonna drag you up and down the practice facility or wherever we was at. Like, that's crazy. If that's what went down, that's crazy to me. Like, I get coaching hard and all that, but that goes beyond that. That's abuse. And any player, any level, if you're listening, if a coach put their hands on you, put your hands on them back. Like, that's you. Before you're an athlete, you're a person. You deserve respect. You don't deserve to be treated as anything other than human. Yeah, that's if that stuff went down, that's wild. And it's even wilder for him to come out unscathed because yeah, I've personally never been in a situation where a coach has, been physical with a player, but I just couldn't imagine a coach putting their hands on somebody and nothing happening. As far as a delayed response, that he put the PR team to work, and he's just trying not to say anything to to damage himself if this is what really happened. As always, even if he is innocent, you got to have a calculated response. But I don't see people just making this stuff up. But either way, Jesus Christ, man. I just don't see a situation where that happens on any team I played on and that dude doesn't get stomped like on site. Yeah. I don't know, man. Maybe I just got an anger problem. I don't know. but yeah, that's a crazy story. When I first read it, I was like, Jesus. If it not to go on and on, but like, especially your college age and you letting people put their hands on you. Like, dude, if it was like yeah, straight up, like, because that's at all decency and all thought is gonna go out the window. Once you put your hands on me, it's a whole nother situation, and we gonna handle it such. So that's where I'm at with it. Hopefully he didn't do it, and if he did, hopefully he gets what he deserves. But yeah, just glad it wasn't me because I'd be in trouble. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wilson.
Yeah. For his sake, you better hope it didn't happen. It's kind of interesting that none of the players from the years in questions have come out to his defense. So I don't really care about the players that weren't necessarily on the team at that time coming to his defense. Like, that's all well and good, but it would only mean something to me personally if the teams, the players that were teammates of the player who was accusing him of these things said that, then yeah, cool. Then there's a legit dispute there. But no one's from the years in question are speaking up. So my whole thing is like, yeah, you may not have had that experience if that's allegedly what happened. Like, that's cool for you, but you can't speak to something which you weren't around for. For his sake, I hope he's wrong. If not, the NCAA needs to act as swiftly as they do for other coaches with some minor offenses. So yeah, they need to step in swiftly, get him out of there. He doesn't need to coach again. I mean, if that's what we come to after the investigation, he doesn't need to be coaching NCAA, high school, whatever, ever again. Like, that's it. That's a line you should never, never, never cross. That's all I have on that.
All right, Octavia.
I'm kind of with Ray on this. Like, I don't see how a man that looks like this coach and a player that could like he's not like he's a big guy like somebody couldn't take him and you were like, oh, maybe I shouldn't try him. Like he looks like anybody walking down the street. So I can't imagine him punching somebody in the back of the head and not picking his teeth up off the ground. I don't get it. I mean, I hate to say that somebody isn't telling their truth and what they experienced. Although that happens sometimes, I never will be that person to accuse somebody of that. The truth will come out as it will. But I just can't fathom that happening and nobody doing anything about it. Like you just continue to play for him, act like it never happened. Another coach didn't step in. Like somebody didn't see it, say something, start some type of gossip. Like I don't know. Me personally, I just can't see that happening. If it did happen, that's horrible. That's terrible. He deserves everything that's coming to him. If that did happen, I just hope that there's a way for them to get to the bottom of it. Because it's always stuff that happens after the fact. You know, now instead of this happening, like saying like last week, if this was like a regular season, this happening last week, they could, investigate it pretty quickly. But now you're talking 5 to 10 years. People are like, I don't remember. Like, who knows if we're going to actually get a real concrete answer after this investigation, or if it's always just going to be a he say, she say thing. But I don't know. I just can't fathom being college age, playing a sport, and like a coach punched me in the back of the head and like nothing happens about it. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. I can't fathom it. Like I don't know. I hope it didn't happen. People have made up things for less, unfortunately. I hope that's not the case in this situation. I hope he didn't do it. I just hope they come to some type of resolution because that's crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. Cardell. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, definitely. I hope it's just BS narratives because I think that who was the right? Was it Rice up at Rutgers a few years back? That he was caught on camera beaming the ball at the kid's face and all that. They were just standing
Oh
there
yeah,
taking
yeah,
it.
I remember that.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, I want to just bring up a story with me so these youngins can really understand what's going on. Like, I get it. It's a lot of pressure. You playing college ball. You want to make your family proud. You want to do things in basketball. You want to graduate. I get it. It's a lot of pressure. I've been there. I get it. But situation happened with me, and this would effectively end in my college career. I don't like talking about it because it's just a sore topic. But a coach got in my face after a practice because I guess well, it wasn't even practice. We hadn't started practice. It was preseason. He didn't like that I was choosing to work out on my own, not with the team. Because the teammates at the time were BS, and in the gym, I just felt like I could get more done by myself, which ended up being the case. But it was like he took it as I was going against him, so he called me to the office, and he started off yelling or whatever, but then he got up in my face and bumped me, and that's just a no-no. I don't think he really understood what type of dude I was, or he was just used to dealing with a certain type of player or whatever. So it wasn't even a thought. I knocked him out. I knocked him right over his chair on the spot, and I'm waiting for him to get up to continue fighting. He never got up. He just laid there. So with that being said, I just told him like I'm good. I don't even want to play for you no more, and I walked out. So I'm waiting for the police to come, honestly, to arrest me. You know what I'm saying? It's a white coach, we in a white area, so I'm just waiting. And nothing happened. I get a text from one of the assistant coaches. He's saying, yo, be at practice tomorrow, meet me at the gym. They still had me come in like it was nothing to come practice. But the head coach I noticed was avoiding me. He wouldn't put me in games, he wouldn't put me in the scrimmages, any drills, whatever. It's just like I was standing there. So I knew what it was. Plus, like I said, I was done. I checked out on him because I don't respect you no more as a man. You see what I'm saying? Now I say that for these youngsters to understand, yes, you want to play basketball, you want to be successful, but you will always be a man. I don't care about basketball. Basketball will end. You will always be a man. You can't let nobody walk on this earth whatever hit you, physically touch you in a way where it's threatening and stuff like that. You gotta understand, it don't take much but a punch for you to be jacked up. All they gotta do is hit you in the right spot. So I'm not even about to let nobody even get in there. I don't care. He can yell, and I played for some tough coaches like that, cuss you out all day or whatnot. I get it, but I noticed the black coaches never crossed that line, but this white coach did with me. So that effectively ended my college career. I didn't care. I just went on, finished school, kept training, and focused on trying to go overseas at the time. But now as a grown man, the situation was ugly, but I could at least call myself a grown man now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of thinking back at that, it's like, man, this dude really like hit me and got away with it, bumped me or whatever, got away with it. Like I should have hit him. Like I should have defended myself. That shouldn't even be a thought. Always defend yourself, youngest. I get it. I get it. These coaches are at schools. They got prominent names. They got a lot of power where they at. But you're always going to be a man. And that's just my advice to them. No coach should ever have to take it that far. It's just, at the end of the day, I get it. You got to win games and stuff, but basketball is just a game. So you have to understand it's a line that neither side can cross. And if the coach is that frustrated with you, he got options, run you. If it's that bad, kick you off the team. Yo, go transfer or whatnot. He should never have to put his hands on you. It's that simple. So youngest know you always defend yourself. I don't care who it is, what it is. Tell your parents what it is. And if they don't understand, then hey, the hell with it. But you gotta keep that line, that barrier for anybody, especially this day and age, because people love to test you, and you can't allow that to happen.
All right, we're gonna close on that note. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. As always, don't forget, go over on DC TV Friday nights at 10 p.m. To catch this live on their network. And also get over to DC TV, it's dctv.org, so you can check the other times it airs that week if you can't catch it on Friday night. That said, get over to finalsmac.com, on We'll see you guys next week. Only imagine what happened in sports between now and then. See you guys then.